but he felt bad that this whole quilt was filled with family members and then a stranger here that didn't belong in the family. Welcome to Joyful and Merry Quilting. I am Mary, and I am thrilled to welcome you to my podcast today, Quilt Talk, where we talk about what else? Quilts. What else is there? Quilts. We love quilts, and it's so much fun to discuss them and talk about them. And I am thrilled that you are actually here with me, listening and hopefully commenting. Before I get started, please like this video, subscribe if you have not yet subscribed, and if you post a comment below, I am more than happy to answer it. I answer all comments. So please post your questions, post your comments, click like, click subscribe, and we will get going with this podcast. So again, thank you so much for joining me. I always start out my podcast with a merry moment. And I have a lot of merry moments this week. This has been such a tremendous week. First of all, thank you all for joining me on our YouTube lives. We started out kind of rough a couple of weeks ago when I couldn't quite figure out the microphone issue and then the camera issue, and we were having some difficulty, but I hope that we've gotten it squared away and that you are able to watch and enjoy as we talk about Christmas in July, which is our topic right now. We are kind of right in the middle of Christmas in July. This is the end of week 2. YouTube live discussions, posts and tips and podcast. So if you hit subscribe, you'll be notified of all those things so that you don't have to think about it. We'll just send you a notice that there's a new video available or something new on our website. Also on our website, joyfulandmerryquilting.com, if you go to that website, there's a free workshop if you're relatively new to quilting, or maybe you just want some new tips on how to create a perfect quilt block. Click on that. I've got some great videos there. Alex, my son, works with me on this. He's edited them so that they are in such a way that they're very easy to watch, very easy to pick up where you left off if you can't watch the whole thing at once. And I hope you'll check it out. It's free. It's a free workshop. We would love to have you join us. So my merry moment this week is, we've been each week trying something new, trying to find another way to bring our story to you, to bring our quilting tips to you, to bring quilting history and information, anything that we can. And this week we did our first quilting short. Now, if you're not familiar with a YouTube short, basically it's a minute or less of whatever it is we want to tell you. So we want to get all the information we possibly can get into that 1 minute so that if you are interested in a particular tip or topic, you'll have all that you need by watching that. Now, most of our tips, the way they are, if you go to the YouTube page and click on videos, the Joyful and Merry YouTube channel, you click on videos, all the tips, all the podcasts are listed there. So you can find something you may be interested in. There might be a topic that you'd like to investigate further, something that's of interest to you. You can find it there. If you click on live, those are my live podcasts, but you can still watch them. You can still comment on them. I will still comment back to you if you have a question or you have something you'd like to talk about. I also love for you to comment with anything you would like me to address. We had one comment asking me to post a tip about something, which I am going to do. I love your suggestions and your ideas, and I am happy to try and investigate a topic that maybe you're not sure about or a product that you'd like me to check into. I'll try it. I'll see. If it's worth your while, I'll post and I'll let you know. If it's not, I'll tell you that too. So there's so many things that we have, But back to my joyful moment, my merry moment, we have our first shorts that are available. And if you have watched the videos with our tips, and maybe you just need a little refresher, or you would like to share it on your page, then you can go to the shorts and everything is kind of in a condensed version. So if you need the longer one to walk you through a particular process, just go to the videos, find the corresponding video, stick with me here. My topic is about spam. And I talked about this a little bit on the Joyful and Merry page and just kind of shared some information with you. I've gotten really concerned about all the spam that's showing up on our group pages. Supposedly, when we're in a group, we're a little protected. And I believe we are if we have good monitoring. And I try my very best to monitor our page. When someone on our page, you all know it because you've been through it, when a new person would like to participate and join our group, make a comment, then they make their comment and the comment comes to me for approval. Now, if they have not joined the group, they just want to make a comment. Sometimes I post, sometimes I don't. It just kind of depends. If they're supporting a friend with their comment, usually I'll let that go through. If the comment is, I'm not quite sure, then I don't, just to protect everyone in the group. So when someone decides they would like to join our group, click on join, and then I look at every single request to see whether or not they look legitimate to me. And 99.9% of the time they do. Sometimes I know people, or sometimes their comments are just appropriate for what they're doing. Sometimes the comments aren't appropriate and they sound kind of goofy. And then I wonder, I'm not quite sure. And rather than put the group at risk, I usually decline the post. They can still read what's going on our page, but until I'm comfortable with those who are requesting membership, I don't let them in the group. So that's kind of how it works. If someone posts negatively or wants to get in a fight with someone else on the group, those people are not only not allowed to join the group, but they are banned from the group and they are blocked from the page. So they no longer can see our page. And that's for everyone's protection, mine included. This is a joyful and merry place. And the whole reason we created this particular page with this name is because we love quilting and we want everything to say positive and happy. And when somebody's negative, it kind of takes away from that joy, takes away from the merriment. And, they can go somewhere else. They don't need to come on a joyful and merry site and be negative. It just doesn't make sense, does it? So anyway, let's get into the topic at hand, which goes from group members to spammers. Now, the quilt that's behind me, that's hanging behind me, is a signature quilt. I'll tell you a little story behind it. When this quilt was created, when the pattern was created, a friend of mine lost her husband suddenly. They were both relatively young. She had small children, and he just passed away unexpectedly. It was devastating, of course, as any passing is, but this one especially. She was a teacher, and she really struggled with the fact that her boys lost their dad, and she lost her husband of 25 years. So it wasn't this quilt, but it was one similar to this, that I had taken over to her class probably a month or two prior. We needed some Project Linus quilts, and I thought this would be a really fun pattern for the kids to write little messages to whoever would get the quilt. So I took it there, and all the children in her class made similar little squares like this, and they decorated them, and they put, little pictures I told them they needed to put their name and something that described themselves in a picture. So there's a little basketball, there was, little dancing shoes, all kinds of fun stuff that the kids put on there. And I brought the quilt home, actually the squares, they just had the squares, and I put it together, I quilted it. And I'm not kidding, it was probably weeks, not even weeks, a couple of weeks maybe later. I had not given the quilt away yet when her husband passed away. So I took the quilt, and her son was in the second grade at the time, one of her kids. One went to school with Alex, and the other one was in the second grade. And we gave that quilt to her son, Chandler. He had all the children in her class writing him messages, sending him comfort and support through the gift of a handmade blanket. It was amazing. It was meant to be. I can't tell you how many times that has happened to me, where quilting has just taken things to a new level when someone is in need of some comfort, and we are somehow notified that we need to get something done, and we do, and it serves its purpose. So that's where this particular pattern came from. Then I was creating a pattern for this, and I needed to have another quilt to be displayed. So I had my family get together and do the same thing. They made blocks for our family members. Now, this was a while ago. Not all of my grandchildren are even on here because they weren't born yet. And my mom and dad are on here, and we have different people on here in our family that we included. And that was really fun to do. There's one square on this quilt right here that says Petey. Well, we don't have anyone in our family, or at the time, we didn't have anyone in our family named Petey. And my son-in-law did it and put it on there. And then he started to feel guilty about it. I didn't know he felt guilty about it, but he felt bad that this whole quilt was filled with family members and then a stranger here that didn't belong in the family. So their family went and got a cat, and they named the cat Petey. So they still have Petey. Petey, I don't know how old he is, close to 10, I guess, maybe. Anyway, so they have a cat. So now everyone on this quilt is a family member, including Petey. And we're able to say, yes, this is our family. So I never did give it away. I have kept it and we use it at our cabin for our family. But it's a great idea for a quilt. It's really fun. It's just a signature quilt. And this is for real. These are for real people. This was not a real person, Petey, for a while, but now he is. So that's what reality is. We all know it's real people, real circumstances, real stories, real. But then we have the stuff that's not real, the fake stuff, the spam. So I looked up, I wondered, where in the world did spam come from, that word? I mean, we all know spam. I mean, we know it two ways. I know growing up with spam, my dad used to eat it. My mom would cut it up and put it in little pieces in his breakfast and his eggs. And they came in a square can and a little key, and you hook the metal of the key and you twist it until the top came off. But then if you twisted it the wrong way and it broke off, then you couldn't get your spam out of the can. And you had to either use a screwdriver or pliers or try and use the can opener on it, but it didn't always work. I didn't want to do it. And so it was quite an effort to get a meal of spam, that's for sure. So then I'm thinking, where did that come from? Talking about fake emails and people that are trying to, trick you out of your money and your identity and all that. Well, in 1970, if any of you are familiar with Monty Python, at the time I wasn't, but now I am, there was a video or a movie, I guess, and one section was about a restaurant and everything they served was spam. Everything was spam. So no matter what you ordered, it had spam in it. And there was somebody in there that was like, I want to get a meal without spam. And they were just appalled. They couldn't believe that you wanted something without spam in it because spam was just the best ingredient ever. And that's where, don't ask me how. Honestly, I have no idea. I looked this up in several places because I thought surely there's more to the story, but there's not. It's just Monty Python, spam, emails. And, emails came way after 1970 and spam posts and all that stuff. So that's kind of where the spam thing came from. That is where it came from. And no rhyme or reason, but we know what it is. And we know it as being something fake, basically trying to trap us or take us to a place that we don't know we are going until it's too late and we're already there. So I see this happening on a lot of our pages, that my group pages, especially that I belong to. I'm on a dog page and I'm on several quilting pages. And I started to see these weird posts showing up. They always were posts where somebody was self-deprecating and being critical of themselves or relating a story of someone saying that, they weren't appreciated, they weren't loved, they have a particular ailment that no one is acknowledging, or maybe they have a disability people are making fun of. There's always that element of trying to get your sympathy. You offer that sympathy through a comment, through a share, or through a like on their post, and they've got you trapped. So the more that I started seeing some of these kinds of posts, I thought, those can't possibly be real. I mean, how many people have someone say such a terrible thing to them and they need to come on a quilting site and post what it is? So I'm going to share a few of these with you. I know that you know what I'm talking about. I feel like I'm kind of like, Dear Abby, some advice columnist here, but I'm going to read these to you. And just pay attention. And I know you're going to say, I've heard that, or I've seen that before. Okay, so the post comes, usually there's a beautiful quilt with it. I have never seen one of these posts that has had a quilt that is anything less than perfect in the picture, a person in the picture that is either showing or holding this beautiful quilt on occasion. Sometimes it's just the quilt. And I have never seen one that looks, in quotes, ugly the way it's described in their post, or that anyone would even consider calling it ugly. So here we go. I made this quilt for my aunt. However, my husband said that it was not beautiful to present. I was very sad. Now I'm in doubt if I give it to her or not. What do you guys think? It was followed by 30 supportive comments, 2 shares, and 30 likes. Now, this is a fairly new post, so I'm sure it's got many, many more likes and shares and comments now. But, kind of bizarre. And of course, then I look at the picture and it's gorgeous. It's a gorgeous picture. So then people are offering their support because quilters are kind. They like to offer comfort. They do the best that they can to make someone feel better in a negative situation. And that's what happened. Okay, here's another one. Okay, this is a little pathetic compared to the amazing stuff being posted. But here's my first quilt. Again, a gorgeous quilt. Points, big, huge medallion in the center. No way it was her first quilt. Absolutely no way, in my own humble opinion. Here's my first quilt, made from new fabric and scraps. Okay, your first quilt and it's made from scraps. Okay, where'd you get them? I love seeing the projects in this group and it inspired me to keep learning. 11 comments, 33 likes, brand new post. Here's another one. I am really insecure. I wasn't going to post my quilt because I'm afraid they won't like it. And I still don't think I'm very good at it. Again, gorgeous quilt, beautiful. Nothing like I could have ever done. Put together perfectly, quilted beautifully. Square, lovely. Beautiful fabrics. Okay, she says, I still don't think I'm very good at it. I'm trying really hard and I'm going to improve. This is my dream because I really like quilts, so don't criticize. Thank you. 57 comments, 16 shares, 130 likes. Okay, one more. I finished this quilt I made with so much love. Again, a beautiful quilt. When I laid it out on the bed, my husband put an end to my joy. He said it didn't look pretty. Some of these are hard to read because the sentence structure is not super good. It didn't hurt just to praise my work. That's why I like to post here in this group. There's always someone who will like it. 47 comments, 4 shares, 44 likes. Okay. These are not real people. They may be real people, but these are not real posts. These are not true posts. These are fake posts. These are spam. Oftentimes, the pictures that you see have been stolen. You'll see them on other sites. The picture will come up, different story, different name posting it, and the same, oh my gosh, nobody liked my quilt. I know this is ugly, and it's not. And that is what is so aggravating about this because they appeal to the heartstrings. They tug at the heartstrings. They lead you into their trap. And then when you click like, you share, you comment, they've got you. And that's where the problem is. That's where identities get stolen. That is where your Facebook page gets cloned. When it gets cloned, then what they'll do is they'll post what they really want to post, which is usually something terrible, and they'll send it to all your friends. And so your friends are thinking, oh, Mary sent me this really cool link. I'm going to check it out. And then they check it out and then they've been trapped. So you don't want to do that. You don't want to give any of these people any of this access. So number one on the list, first thing, don't like, don't comment, don't share. Don't even say this is spam or I think this is spam or is this allowed? Because they don't care what you said. What they care about is that they got you to say it. So whether it's positive or negative, that's not even their issue. Now they have you and they can do what they need to do in order to compromise your Facebook page, your identity, whatever they want to do, depending on how much of an expert they are in doing this. So that's first on the list. Don't do that. Secondly, when you see a post, it will have all this, and then it usually has a link also. So it's not just the comments that they want or the likes or the shares, but they want you to click on that link. So you see this really pretty pattern, and you look at the pattern, you're thinking, oh, that's really beautiful. I wonder what that is. And you click on it. Doesn't take you to the pattern. Takes you who knows where. Sometimes it'll take you to a quilting site or something, but it's not what you thought it was going to be. And you don't get that free pattern you were hoping for. Nothing is free. There's just not. Now, I don't mean across the board because we do have free things that are available in our quilting world that we are grateful for. But when it's something like this, it's not free. And when we get there, many times it's just too late to go back. We don't want to click on those links at all, ever. We certainly don't want to share the posts so that other people will click on them that we know and compromise their identity or their Facebook page. So that's the second thing. When we see those posts, don't click on the links. Third thing, when we see those posts on our page, report them to administration. There's little dots on the side of every post, ... Click on that and it'll say report post and you can report it. And the administration then can go ahead and do what they need to do, either delete the person, block the person, delete the post. Hopefully they'll do all of those things and they'll take care of it for you. An example, I was on a page, it was a brand new page. I thought it looked like a good one. As I'm looking at it, there's just what I just said. There's posts like this that, everybody's sad. Everybody's, got a sad story to tell and people are liking it. But it was like every other post was like that. So I didn't know about this at the time. And I go, oh my gosh, I better report this. So I reported it to the administration and I get back an immediate message, Facebook message that says, we don't accept messages from group members. And I thought, because I had reported it. This was a Facebook message I sent in addition to the report. And I just explained, I said, I think this person is a spammer. Well, they're spammers. The administrators of the page were spammers. The page was a spam page. And here I went and emailed her or texted her or whatever, messaged her, him. I don't know what they were. Anyway, so this was a while ago. Unfortunately, nothing has happened. But I immediately deleted my membership in that page and deleted the post and deleted my Facebook message as well. And then I reported the group to Facebook. I don't know if it ever got taken care of because it wasn't that big of a group. It was relatively new. But even so, it was just one of those scary situations that I thought, oh my gosh, look what I could have done to myself just because I thought I was doing the right thing. So reporting is what's important, reporting to the administration. You don't need to message them. You don't need to email them. You report them. If the report doesn't work, that's when you know just get out of town. Just make sure that you block them, delete them, anything you can. So those are the steps that we take to get rid of those spam pages, hopefully. We've got to get them out of our quilting community so that we can do what we're doing here, so we can just have a joyful and merry moment and share things like this, stories like this, patterns like the free pattern for Christmas in July and other things that we've put together that we share, the tips and the tricks and that sort of thing that benefit quilters and not those things that take us down a path that can really cause us more angst and heartache than anything else, just getting our identities compromised, for heaven's sakes, our Facebook pages cloned and our friends seeing things not from us that are very questionable. We don't want that to happen. So if you see any of this type of thing, now you know what to do. Now you know how to react. As pretty as those quilts are, as sad as that story may be, don't share it. Don't put your picture on that page. Don't put your quilt on that page. It's going to be used just like the others that were used on there as well. I did ask on one Facebook page, how can I protect my photos of my quilts when I'm posting them? What can I do to protect them? Should I put a watermark on them? Should I put a copyright on them? And someone immediately answered and said, my husband is in fraud detection. And she said, there are apps out there that take watermarks off. There are apps out there that can take off a copyright. If you don't want your quilt to be compromised, don't post it in a place where it may be. So that's kind of our words of wisdom for today. And hopefully, if we can get rid of this stuff, or at least be able to identify it, then our joyful and merry experience when it comes to quilting is going to be that much better. So please let me know below. Comment if you've had an experience like this, or if you have any suggestions in addition to what I've said that may help others avoid getting into these compromising positions before they are at the point of no return. How can we band together as a community and keep things as pure as possible when it comes to our quilting pages, our sharing, our photos, our comments, our sharing, etc. So thank you all, everyone, for joining me today. I know that it was kind of a little bit of a negative session, but it really was a public service announcement, I think. I think we all need to hear this sort of thing. We need to make sure that when we are on the internet, that we can post responsibly and that we can recognize when things maybe aren't quite on the up and up. So I hope this helps you. Have a wonderful, joyful and merry week. I hope you are having a joyful and merry Christmas in July and that you are joining us for the festivities there. Santa's Satchel, if you'd like to take a look and see what's in there, joyfulandmerryquilting.com/Santa. And you can go there and see if that might be something you're interested in. We still have 2 more weeks. And of course, you have all the way until the Christmas holiday season in order to get the projects done. So I hope that you'll join me. And again, have a joyful and merry week. I am always trying to be joyful, but I will always be merry. See you again next week.